The Ukrainian Signum Battalion infiltrated a forest in the Lyman region with an FPV drone, approaching a Russian military camp. Based on the military equipment observed, it was clear that a large group of Russian soldiers was stationed there. The drone scanned the area, eventually locating the soldiers gathered together, and swiftly launched its strike. Subsequent waves of drones struck the Russian positions, neutralizing the military vehicles stationed there. Motorcycles used by the soldiers were destroyed, leaving the Russian position completely inoperable. Russian soldiers often use motorcycles at the front to move faster and coordinate more effectively. However, these vehicles become very easy targets for drone strikes. While a Russian soldier was moving through the Andreevka region, he was spotted by a drone from the 414th UAV Strike Aviation Brigade. The soldier opened fire on the drone, trying to shoot it down, but when his ammunition ran out, he attempted to hide in a corner. Helpless and exposed, the soldier became the target of the FPV drone, which immediately struck. The FPV drone operator searched for the optimal position to strike. Meanwhile, the Russian soldier fired at the drone several more times, but still failed to bring it down. He even tried to block the incoming drone with his foot, using it as a shield, but it was no use. On November 23, 2025, a lone Russian soldier in open terrain became the target of an FPV drone from the 3rd Assault Brigade. Seeing the drone moving in for the strike, the soldier ran in circles, trying to evade the attack, but there was nowhere to escape. As a last resort, he fired at the drone, attempting to shoot it down, but failed. Perhaps if he had tried to surrender, he might have had a chance to survive. The drone approached rapidly and struck the Russian soldier, who was unable to escape. Here's how Russian soldiers became the targets of Ukrainian FPV drones. Moving in pairs or small groups across the terrain for reconnaissance or to reach new positions, Russian troops were suddenly confronted with shockingly swift FPV drone strikes. Many soldiers lacked sufficient ammunition or even weapons, a detail that stood out during the attacks. Some attempted to fight back against the drones, while others seemed completely unconcerned, ignoring the incoming strikes altogether. Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles carried out a strike on the Shatura Gres power plant near Moscow. The facility caught fire following the drone attack, sending thick smoke into the air and triggering a major response from emergency crews. The strike caused widespread and prolonged power outages across the city, leaving large parts of the area without electricity as authorities worked to contain the fire and assess the damage. A Russian soldier became the target of Ukrainian FPV drones. In the Zaporizhzhia region, Ukrainian reconnaissance drones spotted a lone Russian soldier moving through the ruins. He was far away from his own defensive positions, completely exposed. The soldier was tracked for a while by the drones. Then, the Ukrainian operators launched the FPV strike and the attack began. When the Russian soldier finally noticed the drone coming toward him, it was already too late. Ukraine's drone strike unit, Magyar Birds, targeted Russian soldiers in the Donetsk region. The troops tried to escape the approaching Ukrainian FPV drones, but out in the open terrain, they had nowhere to hide and no way to run. The drones closed in one by one, turning the entire area into a deadly trap for the Russian soldiers. Ukraine's fiber optic FPV drone searched a large industrial building for Russian soldiers. The experienced drone operator quickly moved through the entire structure, checking every floor and every corner. He believed a Russian soldier had to be hiding somewhere inside. And he was right. Before long, a Russian soldier revealed his position by firing at the drone, and immediately became its next target. Russian armored vehicles were stopped by Ukrainian unmanned aerial systems. Infantry fighting vehicles moving toward Ukrainian positions for an assault were first struck by FPV drones. Moments later, the armored vehicles began to burn. After the attack, Russian soldiers scattered across the area, and FPV drones immediately went after them. A Russian fiber optic FPV drone ran out of cable. The drone, which had been launched toward a Ukrainian military vehicle in the Sumy direction, failed to reach its target and crashed before completing the attack. A Russian soldier hiding inside a house was detected. The Ukrainian UAS regiment Phoenix launched a drone and dropped an explosive directly onto the soldier's position. The Russian soldier, who survived the first strike, immediately ran out of the building, trying to hide somewhere else. But this time, an FPV kamikaze drone locked onto his new position and carried out a direct attack. Not only military vehicles, but also Russian troop gathering points were targeted. Russian soldiers often used abandoned buildings in occupied areas as positions, turning them into makeshift shelters and bunkers. However, these locations did not remain safe, as they were struck by Ukrainian forces. The Ukrainian Barracuda unit, part of the 40th Coastal Defense Brigade, launched an operation on a Russian logistics base on the left bank of the Dnipro River using an unmanned naval vehicle. Ukrainian forces first loaded the unmanned craft with a large amount of explosives, monitoring the operation through cameras at every step. As the two vehicles approached the Russian logistics base, they reached their targets and detonated, creating a massive explosion. Once again, a Russian soldier became the target of an FPV drone. The Ukrainian Apache Assault Group, part of the 81st Airmobile Brigade, struck Russian troops in the northern part of Crimea. Ukrainian forces successfully infiltrated Russian positions and systematically neutralized the defensive emplacements. Even soldiers who thought they were safe deep within the forest were caught in the strikes. Ammunition and military logistics supplies were destroyed by drones. Here, a Russian soldier trying to escape can't even get away from the drones among the trees. The 28th Mechanized Brigade of Ukraine targeted Russian infantry in the Kostiantynivka area of Donetsk Oblast, destroying Russian military vehicles. The operation involved a large number of FPV drones, kamikaze drones, and fiber optic drones. The strikes took place in an area heavily occupied by Russian forces, which they believed was fully under their control. Confident in their dominance, the Russian troops left their vehicles and positions completely unprotected, making every drone attack in the operation highly effective. Ukrainian SBU Special Forces Unit Alpha carried out a series of precise strikes on Russian positions in Pokrovsk and on temporarily occupied territories. In Pokrovsk, they destroyed a tower of an industrial facility, which reconnaissance had identified as hosting machine gun teams, snipers, and FPV drone operators. Another target included warehouses storing FPV drones, Zala, UAVs, and Gerber systems deep in Russian-controlled areas of Donetsk Oblast. The strikes were carried out using FP2 drones equipped with 105-kilogram warheads, delivering high operational effectiveness and ensuring the complete neutralization of the targeted positions.